Each year, Americans consume nearly 10 million tons of toilet paper, equivalent to about 20 million trees and 3 million tons of recycled paper. This massive industry generates a staggering revenue estimated at around $50 to $60 billion in 2024, with North America, the US and Canada accounting for 30 to 35% of that total. So how exactly is toilet paper made? Let's dive into the fascinating process behind the everyday product we all use. The production of toilet paper begins with a collection of wood, a task performed by a special hero, the logging harvester. Weighing in at 18 tons, the logging harvester doesn't just fell trees, it also cuts and saws the trunks with incredible precision. What's truly remarkable is that this machine can complete all these tasks in less than a minute. In the US, softwood like pine, spruce, and fir is primarily used to make paper. However, a combination of hardwood and recycled wood is also incorporated into the production of toilet paper and other consumer papers. After thousands of trees are felled, they are transported to factories where they are transformed into pulp, the raw material used to create the toilet paper we use every day. Before the wood can be turned into pulp, it needs to be cut into smaller pieces. This is done by the wood chipping machine, a massive device capable of slicing the wood into uniform pieces. These pieces are then fed into large drums, where they are processed to remove the bark, an important step to preserve as much valuable wood as possible. Finally, the wood is washed with water, helping to remove impurities like stones and sand. After the wood is prepared, it goes through a metal detector to detect any nails, screws, or other foreign objects that might have accidentally mixed in with the wood. This step is crucial because undetected materials could damage the machinery in later stages of production. Once the wood passes the inspection, giant rotating blades begin shredding it into small uniform chunks. These wood pieces are then transferred onto a conveyor belt and moved to large piles where they are further processed. The wood chips contain tiny fibers that need to be broken down even further to turn them into toilet paper. This is done chemically in industrial vats, also known as digester machines, where the wood is cooked for hours until it turns into pulp. The cooking process can take up to 3 hours, during which most of the moisture in the wood evaporates. Initially, the wood contains about 50% moisture, and after cooking, the mixture is reduced to about 25%, leaving behind a combination of cellulose, lignin, the substance that binds the fibers together, and other compounds. Each batch of cooking produces approximately 15 tons of usable pulp fibers, which are then ready for the next stages of production, ultimately turning into toilet paper and other paper products. This process transforms raw wood into a valuable material used in everyday items we often take for granted. Another important raw material used in toilet paper production is recycled paper, but it's not always as easy to collect as wood. The process begins with workers removing non-recyclable waste and feeding it into a sorting machine, a specialized device designed to separate recyclable paper from materials that can't be used in toilet paper production. Once the waste is identified and fed into the machine, it moves along a conveyor belt, where the sorting machine and workers automatically remove cardboard, plastic, and other contaminants. A machine like this can process up to 400 tons of recycled paper per day. After sorting, the recycled paper is sent to a giant washing machine and undergoes a total of 14 processing stations, which clean the paper fibers and remove impurities. The result is clean, usable fibers that can be reused to produce new paper. Although this process is complex, you'll be surprised to learn that recycling paper is actually more environmentally friendly than using wood to make pulp. Recycling paper not only helps cut costs, but also significantly reduces waste, helping protect natural resources and offering long-term benefits for the planet. The massive washing machine breaks down the recycled paper into pulp, which then passes through a station to remove small debris particles. The next step uses centrifugal force to separate heavier impurities like sand and small fragments from the pulp, causing them to sink to the bottom. Once the impurities are removed, the pulp is de-inked by washing it with soap, allowing ink particles to stick to the foam, which is then skimmed off. This washing process results in pulp in a sludge form, and to make it more suitable for paper production, it is bleached and diluted with a large amount of water. Now that the factory has pulp made from both wood and recycled paper, it's time to transform it into paper. The paper-making machine is a colossal structure stretching 120 meters long, and the process of turning pulp into paper happens in 4 main steps. First, the prepared pulp is fed onto a large wire mesh screen known as the forming wire. As the pulp moves across this mesh, water is drained through it, leaving behind a layer of intertwined fibers on the surface. This water removal process is assisted by vacuum boxes and other drainage elements, which help control the consistency of the pulp and the thickness of the paper. Next, the wet sheet of paper moves through a series of press rolls that squeeze out even more water. These rollers help compact the fibers, increasing the density of the paper. The combination of these processes gradually shapes the paper, ensuring that it is evenly formed and ready for the next stages in its production. By the time the paper leaves the press rolls, it has already begun to take on its final form. Dense, smooth, and ready to be dried and finished for use. This step marks the transformation from raw pulp into the familiar sheets of paper that we use every day. When the freshly pressed sheet is ready, it's called the wet web and still contains a significant amount of water. This wet web is sent through a series of drying rolls or into a drying area to remove the remaining moisture. Heat evaporates the water from the wet web, leaving behind a continuous dry sheet of paper. However, this sheet isn't perfect yet, as it still has wrinkles. These wrinkles are smoothed out using integrated ironing rolls within the paper machine. While this may sound like a lengthy process, it's astonishing to know that it all happens in just 7 seconds. That's how fast the paper-making machines operate. Next, the paper is wrapped around a dryer called the Yankee dryer. Here, the paper undergoes a process called crimping, which makes it soft and gives it a slightly wrinkled appearance. During crimping, the paper is scraped off the Yankee dryer with a metal blade, making the sheets more flexible, but also reducing their strength and thickness, so they almost dissolve when wet. The paper is produced at a staggering speed of over 1 mile per minute, then rolled into giant rolls weighing up to 5 tons. So how does this paper turn into toilet paper? That happens in a machine called the toilet paper converting machine. While not as massive as the paper making machine, at 80 meters long, it's still an impressive piece of equipment capable of producing 500,000 rolls per day. Large jumbo rolls of paper are unrolled and multiple layers are stacked together. The number of layers depends on whether the toilet paper is 2-ply or 3-ply. Different patterns are then printed onto the paper based on the brand, and a process called micro-embossing adds a textured finish. This not only makes the paper softer, but also enhances its comfort for users. Finally, the paper is rolled into large rolls slightly bigger than the toilet paper rolls we see on shelves. These rolls are then cut into smaller rolls of various sizes, depending on market needs, ranging from standard toilet paper rolls to household paper towels. And there you have it, the journey from raw pulp to the soft toilet paper you use every day. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to catch more fascinating videos like this one.